Okay, gang, here's just a new feature. It's called Everything You Wanted to Know About Jazz Guitar But Were Afraid to Ask. And make the title a little longer. There is no such thing as a dumb question. Okay, here we go. This is from Scott M. Okay. Do you ever have trouble with your guitar feeding back? Mine drives me nuts. I have finally stuffed it with foam, and it still does it sometimes. Do you ever practice without an amp? Do you ever learn a tune by reading it, or is it always by ear? Well, okay. Feedback can be a problem. What I do is I put my amp here on the left side. So the sound is going into the neck, okay? Now you put it on this side, of course you're going to get feedback. You're playing right into the back of your guitar. And what happens a lot of times is that another sound will cause the feedback. It could be a bass player playing too loud. A drum, a cymbal can get the top going, and once it starts, it doesn't stop. So I don't have a problem with feedback, and at times I play quite loud. I would unstuff the guitar because you're just deadening it, you know? You're not hearing the sound of your guitar. And I hardly ever practice with an amp. I should, but, you know, 40 years of playing professionally, I think I had enough of amps, but... And there was another one you wanted to know about. Oh, I almost always learn it from a tune from another musician, or, you know, mostly by ear, okay? This is from Mick B. What styles of modern music do and don't you like? Well, I wish I knew what you meant by modern music, okay? What I don't like is tunes like where one scale or one pitch collection fits all the chords. That doesn't do much for me. I like the challenge of navigating through chord changes. Now, I'll give you an idea of what I consider to be modern guitar playing, modern music. If I play... Now, I like to reharmonize things. Now, watch this. I'm displacing one of the notes in each chord. Okay? To me, that's modern. Bill Evans is still modern, okay? I like harmonies. George Van Epps is still modern. Something is always moving no matter what he's playing. All these, like a spider, you know, all these things are moving. Okay, to me, that's modern. Moving on. Okay, we got Scott M. Do you do any basic setup and adjustments on your guitars? Yeah, I can straighten a neck. I can change the strings. I can intonate the guitar, the bridge, you know, just basic stuff, you know. I can't do frets or anything like that, you know. I take it to Bill Cummins, you know. Anyway, you got my dogs as an accompaniment here. Okay. All right. Yeah, I can set up a guitar. All right, now, Delilah, you got to stop. You still with me? Okay. Here we go. This is from Archtop. If suddenly there were only one tune that existed in the whole world to listen to or play, what would it be and why? It would have to be All the Things You Are, without a doubt. I like it because of the lyrics. The melody is fantastic. There's even a verse to it. You know, which is really a nice verse. I suggest everybody learn that. But I'd have to say that, you know. But I don't know if I was on a desert island, maybe I'd probably be improvising on the tune and would come out as a new tune. All right, it was a good question. And at what point in your playing did you develop your own sound style? How would you describe your sound style, for lack of a better term? I ask because, one, so much of learning jazz is rooted in imitation and assimilation, and two, you have a distinctive sound that many of us can identify right away when we hear you. That's something that just kind of morphed from time, you know. I mean, I didn't set out to do that. I don't know how I would describe it, you know. I don't like the guitar too bright or too dark. So it's like, how do you make a great martini? Add some vermouth, not too much and not too little, you know. But that's something I never really thought about, and I'm glad to hear you say that, because I've heard that a lot, you know. It's like, you know, I can hear Johnny Smith and I know it's Johnny Smith. Hank Garland, I know it's him. You know, not so many of the younger guys have that going, but, you know, I don't know. It just happens. Okay. And yeah, a lot of jazz is a lot of simulation. This is from, can't pronounce the name. How many tunes do you have in your head? And what do you think when you plan your set list before a gig, or do you have one? I never make a set list. I always just start with a tune to warm the band up, you know, maybe something like a blues with a bridge, like Unit 7, you know, and then I've learned to read an audience, you know. I don't know how I learned that, but I guess just from doing it, you know. And how many tunes do you have in your head? Never counted them up. There's tunes that I play or sometimes that I don't play in a long time, and I'll ask the bass player, hey, what do you want to play? And he'll mention the tune, and I go, yeah, I think I know that. You know, I might ask him, where does that bridge go to? Yeah, okay, I remember it now. So I would say maybe 1,000. I never counted it. All right, okay, now, here we go. What is your favorite type of music group, duo, trio, and why? I like guitar trios the best, because I have complete harmonic control, okay, just between me and the bass player, you know. And so trios are good. I also like to add a piano at times, if I could find a piano player that knows how to play with a guitar player, doesn't step all over you, you know. But that's why I'd have to say a trio. I have a few questions on practice. How did you practice when you started to practice hours a day? Did you make a plan in what order you practiced things each day? Like 8 hours? How many hours did you practice a day, and was it every day? Did you get frustrated with your playing and let the guitar unplayed for some days? Well, it doesn't matter what order you practice anything. It has nothing to do with learning. You practice in whatever order that makes you happy, that you feel you need to work on. And practice means just that. You got to do it over and over again. All right, example. When I was at the Hilton Hotel in Vegas, James Moody was on the band. And I heard him practicing in the hallway, and he was doing this. Okay, so I learned the pattern, and I sat there in every key. And I did that until I could do it in all 12 keys. And then maybe I'd go on to something else, you know, chords, something like that. But I do like to practice every day, because you lose, if you take off a day, you might lose what you practiced a day earlier. And how many days? Yeah, 6 to 8 hours. Do you ever get frustrated with your playing? Yes, of course, but I just kept practicing, you know. I try not to miss a day, but yeah, I can get frustrated, of course. All right, how did you practice improvisation years ago when PC programs like Band in a Box didn't exist? how you trained your ear, how did you practice giant steps. Okay. I had a way of hearing the tunes in my head, the chords at least. And like if I took a tune like Misty, I could hear that in my head. Okay, and that's all I had. So that's the way it was done. Here's one I missed. Do you regularly meet other musicians to jam? What is it? Oh, okay. That was from before. Nah, there's no point at this point in my career. There's no point in getting guys together for a jam session. You know, there has to be a reason. All right, now we got, how did you develop your incredible speed? Did you develop it in order to play horn lines or just because you could? Do you hear that fast, or is it you just know where you were going? The speed came from practice and a lot from studying violin studies, Wolfart, etc., etc. Okay? And I did it to play horn lines. Sonny Stitt, Charlie Parker, Coltrane, you know. And most of the time, I don't know where I'm going. You know, it's just on the fly, you know. So, okay. All right, and then was, how did you train your ear? Just by listening. And what that means is that you have to consciously listen to what you play, you know. See, there's two parts. I mean, you got the technical aspect of being able to move your fingers and coordinate your right and left hands, okay? But you also need to be listening to it. So this part has to be second nature. That's why you practice over and over and over again. Leave some space in your mind to listen. Okay. How did I practice giant steps? Just like any other tune. No shortcuts. No one scale fits these. No. B. D7 with a passing note. D7. G major. B flat. E flat major. And then we go to G. No different than any other tune, except it has an unusual pattern of chord changes, which makes it difficult. Okay? It's a hard tune. It's almost like a test. And let's see if I think there's a couple more. Here's one. I have an acoustic image Claris amp, Razor's Edge Stealth 12, built by Rich, and a Benedetto 16B 7 string and Manhattan 7 string. All purchased to achieve your tone. How do you set up your amp to achieve your incredible tone? Through that rig. The amp is flat, believe it or not. Masters maybe at noon. Regular volume is that way. And the rest comes from here, from the tone knobs on the guitar. See? So what I do is I put the amp louder than I'm going to play. Louder, much louder. Then I just start to tweak this volume knob, okay, until I get a sound that I like. And it's that simple, you know. And sometimes if there's a problem with too much high end, I'll roll some tone off, you know, but not a lot. You know, it's pretty much, here's a chord, there's an amp, plug in. Now, I think I've reached them all. Okay, so I hope you like this new feature. And when this goes up, I'll start another thread and see what kind of response I get, and we'll try and keep this going. All right? So thanks for all the questions. This could be very educational. All right, thanks again, guys. See ya.